What's up, YouTube? We back again, man. Let me go and pull y'all up one more time now. Give me a second. But we back again. All right. We finna come in with my man Red.
What up?
Have a good old have a good old discussion today.
Hell yeah.
We're
Take
gonna have
three.
us we're gonna have us this take three. We're gonna have us a good
Take
discussion
three.
today. Um,
Hey,
so
third
let
time's
me
a charm, man. Third time's a charm.
wait for some people to come on in, wait for some people to pour on in. I appreciate y'all for coming in. Make sure y'all hit that like button as y'all come in.
Yeah,
Make sure
man.
y'all
Go
hit that
straight
like
to the
button as y'all
official.
come in. Let's go ahead and get into it. All right. For those who don't know and weren't here for the first introduction, okay. I am the Poor Man's Podcast, and this is my boy Red Sings the Blues. I'm gonna give him a second to explain a little bit about what his channel is about. I do believe you do count yourself as a red pill manosphere guy, right? You
It's in the name.
okay, yeah, it's okay, yeah, it's a label, it's a thing. Okay,
It's in
it's
the
in and out. Okay.
In and out.
But yeah, go ahead and tell the people a little bit about what you do and what you talk about on your channel.
All right. So, guys, I am called Man Behind the Mic. That is my monocle on my podcast called Red Sings the Blues. I am a podcast for young men, red pill aware. Even though it doesn't sound like it by the name of my videos, you know what I'm saying? I talk about social commentary. I try to add in social commentary and, have a different perspective on the information that we got. You know what I'm saying? I go into broader details of certain things. I go into the history of things. So I've done a lot of book reviews. I'm going to be going over the 48 Laws of Power on my channel. I've already done the Game by Neil Strauss, a book that is well recommended. I'm going over the Rational Male. I'll probably try to get Rollo Tomasi in my try to get Rollo Tomasi. I've talked to him a little bit, but nothing's confirmed just yet. But I've been shouted out by a lot of people.
Yes, sir.
People like Minister Jab, Solo TV 84. Uh, Man, every name escapes me. Bernard
Yeah.
Riley. I've been around.
I
All right,
mean, you've been all over the place, bro. And really, we've done we did a podcast
a
maybe a
couple.
month or so ago, and
Yeah,
at that time you didn't have 1,000 subscribers, so you're growing, and your networking strategy is working for sure.
yeah,
And it may just be your openness. For people that don't know, Red does a lot of stuff in the backgrounds too. So he's helping people with their production value. He's helping add a couple things on the backdrop. So he's one of the guys that's a little bit undercover, but he's doing a lot of work
yeah,
for the movement.
yeah. Right.
He just don't get the credit that he deserves sometimes for the work that he be putting in. Man, this man is grinding.
Oh, it's
Um,
good. It's all good, man. They'll figure me out one of these days. They'll figure me
yeah,
out.
no, you gonna
I
come
mean,
up. Don't
no,
worry
no, no.
about that, dog. That's
Wait,
what
wait,
we
wait.
here for.
Wait. But before we go on, I actually did tell somebody, and shout out to the Crypto Game Podcast. Actually said to him, "Yo, get the MV7." He got the MV7. Now he sounds a lot cleaner. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
did that.
Okay, you gonna teaching them lessons.
Yeah,
But I seen you on O'Shea. Okay, I seen you on O'Shea Duke Jackson. Now, everybody know about O'Shea. That's the OG. If you don't know about O'Shea, he is credited by Kevin Samuels to have helped Kevin Samuels get to where he is to some degree. Okay,
right.
um, on that podcast, on the show that I seen with y'all had a really interesting conversation that I wanted to tackle a little bit more on my show.
Go ahead.
And that topic was women seem to hate. I won't say hate, but women seem to avoid, dislike, have a distaste for
Right.
lames, right? This is what we
Right.
would call it in the black community. We call it
Right.
lames, right?
Yeah.
Let's be honest. We call
Yeah.
them lames. In the white community, y'all call them losers. You
Right.
feel me? Like losers. You get where I'm going. So today we just want to talk a little bit about how that can be destructive, and we want to give our own personal experiences, and I'm going to talk, and we're both going to go back and forth, do some banter on how we feel about this and where this leads our community as a whole, because for some reason a lot of folks don't have a great selection process for whatever reason.
Mhm.
All right, so I want you to go ahead and dive into a little bit what you was talking about on O'Shea, and I'm gonna go ahead and get my personal experiences, and from there we gonna go ahead and mix it up a little bit. Go ahead. How do you feel, or what are your personal experiences about women who think they have it all figured out in terms of the guys that they need or the guys that they're looking for, but at the end of the day end up losing because they are looking at the wrong aspects when they're trying to choose whoever they want.
Okay. So let me first off say this. Like, women have the right to choose, you know what I'm saying? And, I'm not going to deny a woman's right to choose. She's not going to choose me. Hey, look, listen, there are other women out there, you know what I'm saying?
Bingo.
However, in the past, I was a kid with like little ambition. Okay, we're gonna start there. I was a kid with little ambition, and I was getting detentions like all the time. You know what I'm saying? Until I met my English teacher, and that detention led to me being a stage crew member at my school. So I've been doing plays ever since then. That kept me out of trouble. You know what I'm saying? And ever since then, I became a theater geek. You know what I'm saying? I used to hang out with a lot of guys that were playing sports. Even though I didn't play sports, I was still in the theater. I was playing music and all that other stuff. So I was basically in jazz bands and stuff. And for, and I'm not saying that I haven't met women that liked me because I did those things. But when it came down to the women that or for example, when I was in high school, I had a crush on this actor. You know what I'm saying? Now this
See,
actor,
let me hop in. I'm sorry, Red. 1 second. For those who are coming in, and for those who don't know, this ain't gonna be no thing about people just being bitter about ladies not picking them. No, this is not what we're here for. All right, we are gonna have a constructive discussion between us, but we're just giving our personal examples as of this point. This will not be again us just ranting about girls because they're not picking certain. You know what I got? We're
right,
just
right.
giving our experiences. So I just wanted to clear the air for people start coming on here. Yo, Simpson, you just got to do. Oh, we get it. All right, we're just talking
Yeah,
about our own personal experiences from this time period. Because and I would even. I'm not gonna cut you. Let's go ahead. I'm gonna let you continue
yeah.
because I start ranting and they get crazy.
Yeah, it's all good. So basically, I had a crush on this actress, and we were, I mean, we were platonic friends at the time, and she was my complexion. You know what I'm saying? She was like a mixture of black and something else. You know what I'm saying? Beautiful looking chick, if I showed you, but that was like years ago. But she always chose the guys that were taller than me, played sports and all that other stuff. I didn't understand it at the time until I, grew older. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But at the time, I was in a unknown band at this point. I played a gig in Pennsylvania. Word got out that I was playing for her favorite band, and she came back. When I saw her come back to me, I'm like, oh, nah, I don't want you now, because because you heard all the rumors were true. I was like, guys talking about her, passing her around, and all that other stuff. And at the certain point, like
See,
she
yeah,
and
that's when things get weird. Yeah.
yeah, and then not only that, like she did tell me, like, oh, you played with my favorite band. Like I opened up for her favorite band, and I was like, all right, yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I was there. It was by circumstance that I met this band, and now this band is like touring and all that other stuff. And that was the time when I was playing in certain bands. And she said to me, if you weren't lame back then, I would have had a chance with you. Like you would have had a chance with me. And I'm saying, like, you're telling me this now? And she
Yeah.
said, well, at the time I wasn't really attracted to you. I didn't know who you were. You were kind of awkward and whatnot. And yeah, and yeah, that I take responsibility on that, because like when in the past, I wasn't like, I worked a lot. You know what I'm saying? I was really just focusing on me. You know what I'm saying? I always loved doing theater, and I always
Bingo.
loved playing
And
music.
and I'm sorry. At one point, at some point after we talk about this, I'm going to maybe give a few keys for what I think women or young ladies should look for and what they should avoid. And this is just my opinion. So, and I ain't perfect. These are just ideas. I throw stuff at the wall, and if something sticks, it sticks. All right.
Oh,
So
hold
go
on,
ahead
hold
and
on.
continue. My
Wait,
bad.
wait a second. So I see Solo in the building. Solo TV 84
Solo in the building, man. What's up with you? Yes, sir.
Yeah, buddy.
You got sound effects over there. What you doing
Hell
over
yeah,
there?
I got the roadcaster, man.
Go
I'm
ahead.
telling you.
You go ahead and talk a little bit. Where did that go? Where did that conversation go? As far as
So
you
when that happened to me, and that's not when I found the red pill. I found the red pill doing something else, and I'm not going to get into that because that's NSFW. But but
oh
when that happened, you know what I'm saying, like it crushed me a little bit, because here's a girl that was like beautiful as hell, like every guy wanted her. You know what I'm saying? Every guy had a crush on her, because if you saw her at the time, yo, bruh, everybody wanted this chick, and she was acting. That was my go-to chick. You know what I'm saying? But the problem is that the men that she chose, it's not my choice. I'm not going to sit here and say that, oh, I'm mad at the men she chose. I understand it, because it's human nature for women to
yeah,
want to choose guys that are taller,
exactly.
stronger,
And
and all that other stuff. You know what I'm saying?
that's why I try to, like, on my channel, I try to talk about that, and I try to talk about it in a context where it doesn't allow for men to become bitter, because a lot of dudes, when they find out all this stuff, they're like, oh, these people had me thinking that I actually had a chance. And now that I actually understand how human nature works, I realized that I really didn't have a chance. They were just leading me on for attention. So they come in what is called red pill rage, okay, where
Right.
they get outraged immediately because they're just learning new information. And so I try to ease that down and try to, make sure that people don't get too outraged and just realize, chalk it up to the game. As a
Right.
person
Yeah.
that just may not be the select person at the time, you're gonna have to produce. And I use the example of Kevin Hart. Well, let's be honest. Kevin Hart is a 5'4" dark skinned guy from Cleveland.
Right. Yeah.
They're making
Hmm.
fun of him. He's the funny guy. He's the he's the class clown. Like, who are we kidding? Like, this is his thing. So
Right.
is he getting played before he gets famous? Probably not. And you can
Right.
see the outburst a little bit because once he gets the money, the girl that he's talking about is his rib and this and that. She's to the
Mhm.
curb. He's
Yeah.
already looking at other options. Okay. And that's
Right.
probably because he didn't have those options when he wanted those options. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's part of it. Oh, he from Philly.
And the
My
thing
bad,
is,
Kevin Hart from Philly. Go ahead, but go ahead though. All
but
right.
the thing is, for me anyway, is that at the time I didn't really didn't really process it the way I did get angry. You know what I'm saying? I got angry because here's a woman coming now after I performed. I opened up for her favorite band, and I was making money off of that. And I got some clout after that. Women were coming left and right with me, and I was just like, okay, all right, this is cool. And then she comes out of nowhere and says, "Oh, I wish I would have dated you when you were in high school." I was like, "Oh, you know, that's okay." Like, and I just said, I was like, "You know what? It's okay." I just walked away from her and I never saw her again. I just said, "It's all right. Like, don't worry
Right.
about it." I'm not trying to reconcile. I'm not trying to get with you. And at the time, like when I heard all those rumors about the stuff that she did and stuff like that, I was just like, "All right, well, something in me's going off." And I didn't know at the time what it was, but when you hear all these guys talking about how she got passed around and stuff like that in high school, now she's coming over to me because she now figures out that these guys that were passing her around and not really sticking around, they were just there for her looks and all the other stuff that she did, and she did a lot. For me, I was just like,
The rest that she did a lot.
"Hey, look, listen, like I'm not taking care of that." You know what I'm saying? Like there's something in me that says, "Nah, bro, I wanted you when you were in your prime, not when you were
Yeah.
in your decline." You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
that's not to say, like I didn't like her. There will be a special place, but now I'm in a different place in my life. You know what I'm saying? Like I have
Yeah.
other things going on. And now that I'm helping people with not only their podcast, but also like the history of this red pill stuff, that's what I base my channel off of, like going into it, going deep into it, really reviewing it. So that guys like you and me, like there are lots of guys that go into red pill rage because of women that have snuffed them in the past because they were educated lames. You know what I'm saying? And I
Right.
don't really like to call myself an educated lame. Like I do things that are considered educated lames, but a lot of guys out there would consider themselves educated lames because they got rejected by the women because they honestly didn't embrace who they really were. You know what I'm saying? Guys are there's big subdivisions of guys. You know what I'm saying? You got your jocks, you got your nerds, you got all that other stuff. But at the end of the day, we're still men. However, men compete, you know what I'm saying? And that's the
Yeah.
unfortunate thing about life. Men have to compete with each other because we're trying to get the better girls, we're trying to get the best job and all that other stuff. That's how we are, you know what I'm saying? It's just
Yeah.
unfortunate. But there needs to come
I mean, here's the thing though,
yeah,
Red. I mean, here's the thing. I don't really see it as unfortunate. I mean, I see it as a natural way for, and I know I'm just trying to nitpick at words, and I know you may think of it a little different. And you just using certain words as you're giving your conversation. I'm not trying to, pick
no,
on the
no, no,
language here.
no, no,
I'm
no,
just
good.
saying, I don't really see it as sad. Um, I just see it as like a natural way for humans to try to progress to some kind of point where
Right,
you got the women trying to pick what they predict to be the guys that will be the most efficient in the future. And so this is how we get iPhones and Teslas and SpaceX and whatever. But that's from years of men being selected. And there's actually like record of people becoming taller over time because of the selective like because women selecting usually taller guys. You know what I mean? So there's a trend, an ongoing trend. And it's not something that I'm bitter. I'm 5'8", by the way, and that's not something that I'm bitter about. I go and do my own stuff, and I mean, I add value to people's lives, and in that sense, they donate and add value to my life. And I mean, it is what it is. You just got to get it how you get it.
Yeah, yeah, man. And at the end of the day, I think I mean, hell, we're all different, man. And that's just the way it is, but what we try to say here is to, garner your skills and become a better you, you know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
once you become a better you, that's you. Become a better authentic you know what I'm saying? Because the problem is that a lot of guys when they get snuffed and all that other stuff by girls because, oh, you're lame, you play video games, or you just look weird and stuff like that. A lot of guys then come into the space and then they just, okay, I resonate with certain content creators, and then on the cusp they try to be something that they're not. You know what I'm saying? When I
Yeah,
when I did,
and
yeah, go ahead.
and I'm sorry, but I feel like that's why a lot of folks kind of enjoy what I'm doing, and because they kind of see the authenticity in it. Like I'm not trying to be that guy. Like I really don't care. I don't have some other trick up my sleeve. You know what I mean? I don't have a something that I'm gonna pull out the last minute and say, "Oh, gotcha." Like I just kind of try to be myself as much as I can. A lot of people, I see them putting on a voice. I see them trying to act like something I know they wasn't. Because I can. I mean, I'm not gonna act like I'm not goddamn Sherlock Holmes, but I can see people and tell sometimes. You could tell sometimes. You can read people, but
Yeah,
like when we get into this topic and you saying that you was a theater kid, here's the thing that people don't understand. And this is gonna go a little bit into black women and black men, of course, because we black folks, so it's
yeah,
gonna go a
yeah.
little bit into that.
Yeah. Let's
But
do it.
let's just be completely honest about this topic. Truly, are women, are black women, especially in cities, are they selecting Will Smith? I mean, he's taller. So he probably got picked, but with a certain attitude, even the tallest and the most. Oh, what? No, what happened? But even with that attitude, I guess I just keep going, y'all. But even with that attitude, even the tallest and most attractive men can get rejected. I
Yeah.
mean, because if you're just like if you have a certain demeanor, it's not gonna stand. You look at people like what's the guy who made the movie Get Out?
Mm-hmm.
You
Uh,
look at him. I
yeah,
can't
I know.
think of his name now. It's escaping me.
Yeah, yeah,
And then you look at the Danny, or the dude who made damn, I can't think of nobody names right now. But you get what I'm saying. There's a lot of black folks that
yeah.
end up going on to marry white women, and
Mm-hmm.
people get upset. But I'm like, were y'all really choosing these guys in high school? Like, were y'all really choosing these drama kids? Because a lot of these actors that get this power and then they shoot up into the atmosphere. Jordan Peele, there we go. Donald
Yeah,
Glover, thank
yeah,
y'all.
yep,
Like,
yep. Yeah, I
were
just
these men, like, let's keep it a buck. Were these men people that you were trying to select at the time, or were you just mad that now that they got rich, they're married to a white woman, and you wanted to wait at the finish line and select them only when they got rich?
yeah. No, I
So,
understand what
like,
you're saying. Mm-hmm.
yeah, because see, my problem, my thing was this: when I was younger, when I was younger, um, I had a crazy good, like I had and it's not no brag or anything, but I had a work ethic, like a certain kind of work ethic. Um, but I was like dark ages because I wasn't really into all the hip and cool stuff. I was low key working on myself a lot of the times. So I didn't have time to really engage with a lot. And I've been working on myself for a very, very long time.
Yep.
So, when they seen me, because this is when I go on to community college now. I'm talking about community college at this point. I'm there with the same shoes I didn't ran track with, and these are skateboarding shoes. I'm wearing DCs from when I was running track in high school. I didn't run with running shoes. I didn't have the best of stuff because I was trying to think of where I wanted to put my money. I was trying to think ahead of where I wanted to put my money. I didn't feel like I needed running shoes because I just trained hard and it would work out for me because I didn't care. Okay, but that was always seen as not valuable to the women that were around me at the time. And I didn't care because I was so focused on what I wanted to do with myself that I didn't really notice it at the time. But now that I go back and I look at it, I had a flip phone, and this is what 2014. I still have a flip phone. All these people
I
got
had a flip
smartphones, and
phone too. I know what you're talking about.
yeah, they're just, oh, you got a flip phone, this and that. And these are the people that have the audacity to ask me for rides.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh
at this
yeah. I
time, I
was
didn't
there.
have the Jordans.
Oh
I
yeah.
was wearing DCs, ripped up DCs, but I was working hard. running in them every single day. First one to the track, last one to leave.
Right.
But I'm getting seen as lesser than because I don't have the latest technology. And the only reason I didn't have it was not because I couldn't afford it. And that's the thing that people don't understand. A lot of people think because you don't have it, you can't afford it. And
Yeah.
that's not true. A lot of the people that can afford it just don't buy it because they want to put it somewhere else. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So that was kind of my mindset at a young age. And it's so unfortunate that I see so many women, and this ain't even just black women, but they're just so addicted to the shiny things. You get what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
they're
No. Yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah.
they're so addicted to the shiny things. Like the guys that have all the Jordans and they asking me for rides. And I would always tell them, use them Jordans to walk to Walmart since y'all making fun of my shoes.
Yeah.
Can them Jordans get you to Walmart? What are you where are your priorities? And these aren't things that a lot of women let me go ahead and put this up. These are things that a lot of women don't look for when it comes to trying to choose a person that they want to be with and who they want to procreate with. But these are important things that you have to pay attention to.
Mm.
Um, you have to judge people based on their character and not based on what they have, especially when you're at a tender age, especially when you're talking about high school and college, because number one, a lot of people can't afford the stuff they get. And if you can't afford it, it's probably because your parents bought it for you. It ain't
Right.
really nothing you really worked for.
But I'm gonna cut you off on that. Now on paper, we can say, we can choose people on their character, but I mean, and on paper, yeah, that sounds good. I want to say that, but I also bring it back to what we said before. It's human nature to want to go for, and I'll say this for both genders. It's in our human nature for men to go for women that usually have bigger tits or bigger butts. Now, women that are prone to be, that have what we want, you know what I'm saying? And it's in a woman's human nature to go for a man that's usually, on the taller, broader side. He's
Right.
kind of brolic and stuff like that.
A little
And
flashy, they like, anything that shine got a little sparkle on it. Yes, sir.
it's in our human nature. We cannot turn that off. Now, I will agree with you. I wish that was the world that we live in, right? But I wish that was the world we could live in. But unfortunately, that's why men are in these positions that we are in. We have to work. That's the unfortunate, factor of the matter. We
Yeah,
have to
well,
work
see,
we
that's
have to work on ourselves. That's why we're here. You know what I'm saying?
well, yeah, but I don't see it as unfortunate. I see it as more of a loss for the women than I do the men because I didn't care. Like, and I think that men who are focused on their goals or young men that are focused on their goals at that time, which I still include myself in that category because that's where I still am. I mean, I didn't care. So it ain't like I held a grudge about it, but I'm just
Right.
saying that these are the things that lead to dealing with the man because of the perception of wealth. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And it seems that this isn't just in our community. It is everywhere else, but it seems to be prevalent. And maybe it's because I grew up and I've been around our people during this time. So maybe it just seems like that to me. But like, why are you checking for a guy that has all the latest shoes but no car? That shows his priorities in terms of his finances. These are signals that I believe I should teach my daughter when she wants to date a man. There are women out there that are getting pregnant by guys that don't have a car. Think about that. You
Yeah, no, listen, I know those types of women. They were the ones to ask me for rides when I had my beat up Ford Focus. And now it's just like, well, look, listen, I mean, look, I'm not driving a flashy car, but you're asking me for rides, but what am I getting in return? You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to, us as black people, with how we see each other, and you know what I'm saying, I think more or less it has to do with how we look at ourselves in the media. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because the
No,
media
yeah, it
play
is.
the
A
media
lot
the
of it, and
media
especially with the social media influence too. I mean, it's just it's all just a whole thing just coming down on us at the same time. There's a lot of folks that didn't know how to react to that kind of stimulation and didn't know how to react to fake fake images, especially when Instagram first came out. When people, people in LA, they go to them little things that the little studios where it looks like you on a private jet. And you sit there with a fake Louis Vuitton bag and take pictures of yourself looking out the window like you're actually in a private jet. They have these places, and a lot of people weren't onto this at the beginning, and and it just takes a certain amount of because we can say it's human nature, and I think a lot of things are human nature, but I think some parts of human nature if you're conscious of it, and that's why I talk about human nature because I believe if you're conscious of it, you can push back on it. Because
Right.
I think there's two parts of your brain. I think that there's a part, and there's some studies that'll back me up on this. And I'm not gonna, I'm not trying to get into pseudoscience or anything weird here. No woo woo stuff. I just want to put that out there. But there's two sides of your brain, and the first part, which is the human nature part, tells you that's what I want to eat. Um, I need to go have sex with that. I need to go do this. I need to go that, and that's to survive, right? But
Right.
then there's the second part where if you're conscious of that first part, you go, oh, I see that piece of cake right there, but I'm on a diet, so I'll back away from that. You know what I
Right. Of
mean? And
course.
we need to get more people out of that first primal instinct and more into thinking about longevity, especially when it comes to such a big decision like who you're gonna lay down with. And a lot of people ain't paying attention to who they're laying down with, and that's insane to me. Like I couldn't.
Well,
Peop- Go
Well,
ahead. I'm sorry.
I'll say that it goes down to, again, the media, because when you look at our community, we are more heavily influenced by the media. You know what I'm saying? We have, celebrities that over sexualize themselves, like Beyonce, Destiny Child of the 90s. And we got, overtly masculine, like dudes, telling, guys to sell drugs, shoot each other and whatnot.
Mhm.
And the reason why I got into the media industry, I've been a big TV watcher when I was a kid. You know what I'm saying? And the thing about it is that, as because we were kids, and we were doing like Dragon Ball Z and stuff like that. But I was very fascinated on how the media influenced a lot of my actions and stuff like that. And but now I see that social media has taken over, the TV. It's
It's
another
here to
medium of media.
stay.
It's
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 here to
another
stay.
it's another
People have
medium of
no
media.
idea. Like, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I thought you was done right there, but go ahead.
And the thing about it is that now we're trying to imitate, when we went from imitating like the Kamehameha to now we're actually trying to imitate like things that we are like I'm not saying you can't be rich. I'm not saying you can't do that. But the fact of the matter is that now we're trying to imitate, like women are trying to imitate these Instagram models, which and now that's driving into women going into OnlyFans. That's actually media influence. You know what I'm saying? Because
Right.
now we're living in a world that is overtly sexualized and stuff like that.
Well,
But now we don't know how to have those sorts of conversations. We don't know what to do with, we don't even know how to, like be in a relationship. You know what I'm saying?
this is
Everything is so
yeah,
fast. You know what I'm saying?
Red. I'm this is kind of where I'm at with it. And that's why I'm saying, like, with the pushback on that primal part of your brain that says that's what I want to have sex with. It's like sex to me is part of the primal part of your brain. That's not really the deep thought part. And sometimes, and that's why a lot of people fall victim to it, because it's always there. It's the quiet noise in the background. It is that thing that makes you a little dark at sometimes. It's the thing that you have to be conscious of, because with enough power, anybody can be corrupt. Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah.
it's the thing that we suppress because we have to be normal. But there's been a lot of occurrences where you give people the slightest amount of power and that thing comes out.
Right.
Okay. And there's obviously some people that can't control that thing. And these are people that are at the lowest of our society in terms of murderers and rapists and whatever. Okay. But the whole media thing is, yeah, but that's Cardi B's job. Like, and I'm not trying to put nobody out of their job. I understand that it's a hustle. It's what you got to do to feed your family. Um,
Right.
or people don't care. People will watch you die. If you don't find a way, people will sit and watch you die. They don't care.
Mhm.
For women, it's a little bit better than men. So I guess Cardi B wouldn't be the example for that. There are safety nets in place for women in our society more
Right.
than men. So, but it's her job. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I get it, but I'm like, you gotta at some point be like, is this real? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, is any of this really real? Like,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Like, at some point, you have to take the accountability for yourself and what's going on with you. You know what I mean? And that's all.
Yeah.
And that's what always comes back to me with. It always comes back to you, because we can soften the environment, or we have this idea now where we feel like we have to soften the environment around us, and that's never going to work, because life is hard and it's always been hard as hell. Like, and it's
Right.
easier now than ever to some
Right.
degree, though, because, and I'll get to that. I may get to that differently at a different time, but it's hard. So we can't make the environment softer for people. We have to make the people harder for the environment. And that's what we've done historically speaking. We've always found a way to overcome our primal instincts to stay together as a society. But
Right.
as society grows, it seems like more and more people are being separated. And this is not only with relationships. Yeah, I mean, not only do you not have another person in the house with you because relationships are broken up, but like you don't go anywhere. We're having this conversation over this. You know what I mean? This is the new norm. And then with the injection of COVID, like I guess I'm just getting into. I don't know how I got here from self accountability, but this is what I do when I rant. But let me just continue. Let me go down the rabbit hole a little bit here. But this is like what happens when we're alienated, and we only way we can communicate is through these platforms, through
Right.
YouTube, through Facebook, that are controlled by people with agendas, and that's
Right.
scary.
Right. Right.
That's a scary idea. That the fact that a person like Kevin Samuels can grow a following working hard, and they could just go, "I don't want you here no more. See ya."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it gets to a point where these companies have to address their power in terms of their ability to control freedom of speech. And that's a whole nother argument. I'm sorry I went down a rabbit hole.
Yeah, it's all good, man. It's all good.
Yeah.
But I mean, when it comes to us, because I want to bring it back to the black community.
Mhm.
For I guess for a lot of black men, and maybe not all black men, but I'll say like some, if not most, black men. A lot of well, I'll use me as an example. I grew up in a white neighborhood, so I had the what would be called black privilege to mingle and stuff like that, and not have to deal with guys in the hood and stuff like that. But however, when I started growing up, I did learn about my family. I did learn about my father's side of the family, and that is where the hood started to come in. But then
Yeah.
I did
Hey.
realize,
Oh yeah.
but then I did
Yeah. I
realize,
got you.
but I realized something, right? That when I saw my uncle in jail and all that other stuff, because he bought me there, did I realize that I did not want to be like that? You know what I'm saying? At a certain, I knew that I wanted to go, and my family members were telling me, "Hey, go to school, go to college, and all that other stuff. Be something better than what we used to be." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you learn something from your family, right?
Right.
However, when it comes down to us as black people, you know what I'm saying? We tend to make the same mistakes, We tend to make the same mistakes on who we choose as partners. We tend to make the same mistakes on how we make money and how we save our money and all that other stuff. I talk okay, like I said, I've been listening to, again, shout out to Solo. I've been listening to him for a couple of years, and I started getting into cryptocurrency because of him. Now I'm into cryptocurrency. I'm in the S&P, and I started, taking my finances a lot more seriously. Back in the past, I didn't even think about investing and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's been a crazy. That's always been a crazy idea for me because like we grow up with these concepts that money make the world go round. This is in our music as
Mm,
black people, and but the lack of education that we actually have in money versus how much we worship it is actually insane to me.
right.
And whoever I posted on here, could you elaborate this more in the comments as we continue to talk about what we're talking about, and then maybe we could get back to it. But I don't completely understand the question here.
I think I
If
understand the
anybody have
question.
any questions and want us to go ahead and talk about these, but about this too, and this is going to go back to what I was talking about in terms of life just being physically easier now, but more emotionally difficult. What do you think about that? Do you think life is physically easier now, but more emotionally difficult? And if
Right.
you do, why
No,
do you
I,
think
I
that?
can I can definitely elaborate on that. Excuse me. So physically, it is much easier. I do agree with him on that because we have the smartphone. You know what I'm saying? At a click of a button, you can go order McDonald's and somebody can bring it over to your door in less than 30 minutes. You know what I'm saying? You can get a
Right,
pizza from Domino's in less than 15. You know what I'm saying?
right.
And I got a pizza coming in less than 15. You know what I'm saying? But
Gotta get how you live, dog.
But however, I do agree with him. It is emotionally more difficult because the problem is with everything that we have, with all of the technological advances that we have in this world, we don't know how to really. I mean, we are still like we're the second generation of people to get technology, to actually have technology and to evolve with technology. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
To have this technology to get stuff fast, right, has completely made us dependent on our smartphones and on social media. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And then on top of that, we don't know how to emotionally process that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and
Because
people
you're
aren't
dealing
dealing
with
with it well. People
because
really
you're
aren't dealing
dealing
with it well, especially young girls. I'm saying, go ahead. I'm sorry.
because you're dealing with a fast-paced life. You know what I'm saying? When you're on Instagram, there's a study done that when you refresh your Instagram page, you know what I'm saying? Like when you see the little circle, you know what I'm saying? It's like being at a casino. You know how
Yeah,
you have those levers and you just
yeah.
yeah,
That's
those
that's
sorts
that.
of things. It's
That's
the
how they make
same.
them.
It's the same psychological factors when you are on social media. You know what I'm saying?
They hired the same people to make those, by the way. Like they hired casino people to make social media. And social media, other than drug companies or drug dealers, are the only people that calls their customer a user. So just think about that. And it is a dopamine dose. But here's my idea about this, like kind of thing, because I've thought about this a little bit before, and he's saying like physically easier now, emotionally more difficult. See that I think that me personally, I feel like it is physically easier now, emotionally more difficult because we have the technologies to make life easier. But with an easier life means that you have to now find your own purpose. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so many people aren't willing to go out and fail. So many people aren't willing to go out and try things and look stupid and bump their heads. Like people don't know. Like I've always been a guy that's hustled. I've always been a guy that's found a way. I used to sell Rolex replicas. That didn't work. I used to sell Versace box. Well, I won't say it didn't work because I sold that for a very long time. I used to sell Versace boxers.
Right.
I mean, I did that. I sold cars. Like I've done the whole thing, and I've always been willing to fall. I played rugby. I hurt my back, came back, started a YouTube channel, started diving into the intellectual stuff. Um, so you got to be willing to bump your head in order to find out what you want. And a lot of people aren't willing to do that because it's hard. And it's so easy to be comfortable nowadays because it's physically easier. So you sit back and you go, "Well, I have all my needs met. I'm not hungry anymore. What's next? What's up? What's the rest of life?" And I feel this way when I talk about older women too. And a lot of younger women, they come in with the idea that it's going to last forever. They come in with the idea that I don't have to worry. I don't care if I'm going to be alone in my life. And I'm like, well, that's easy to say now when your DMs are getting blown up. When
Right.
there are guys still, knocking each other over to try to get to you. What are you
Right.
going to feel like when you're 55 and you decided to put your career first so you don't have any children and
Right.
and and nobody wants to touch you with a stick?
Mhm.
Nobody wants to have anything to do with you. And it's a very, very different mindset. And I don't think people think about that. I don't think enough people think about the long term. I don't know. I don't know. I
There's a comment in here that I actually like. Rafine says this. It's emotionally more difficult because people have been shielded from adversity. Psychology
bingo.
shows us that going through more stuff makes you tougher. See, that's the thing. I've been
Exactly.
going through a lot of different things in my life. You know what I'm saying? Like I can tell you that without social media, I've organically made friends, which is a lot, but which got a lot more difficult when people started getting social media in the palm of their hands. You know what I'm saying? I was
Mhm.
still the kid that was like making friends organically, like just going up to people and saying hello. Nowadays, you can't even get that, and the thing is that that's very painful to a guy that through the '90s. I'm a '90s kid. Okay, that's not even a big deal, but I am a '90s kid. So what I can say to that is that I've been outside playing football and whatnot and all that other stuff with my friends, and then over the years did my friends get phones and then all this stuff seemed to happen. I started to lose friends because I didn't have the latest phone, or because I didn't want to get on Facebook. And
Yeah.
currently now I'm on Facebook. I went on Facebook when I was in my 20s, not when I was
Yeah.
in my teens, but only because that I see what happened with my friends and on all my other people that I've went through in high school who had social media before I even got it. You know what I'm saying? People were finding out, oh, you were sleeping with this person. Oh, you were doing this with that person. Oh, you're friends with who, and all this other stuff. People were dividing themselves and getting all. I mean, there were like 5 people who ended their lives because of it in my year. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, yeah, I got it. I mean, we got somebody with a question here too. In the in black culture, especially, most of the women of our generation seems undateable. So what are we supposed to do? Um, I mean, it's not the fact. The thing is this. I say, and I really wholeheartedly believe this. If you feel like you can't find a person that is dateable, wait until you find a person that is dateable. And the best thing about being a man, because I'm assuming that he's speaking in context of men, because the best part about being a man is you have a lot of time, especially if you keep up with yourself. If you stay exercise, if you eat decently, if you intermittent fast, if you do certain things that will preserve your look in 2021. You could look good at 50. You can look good at 60. Like
man.
people are getting that confused. Like if you take care of yourself, you look good for a long time. And there are a lot of people in the world. I'm not too pessimistic about there not being dateable women. I think women, if in the right environment, are very, 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 very coachable, or coachable. And if you teach them, and if you're willing to stand up and be the person that has that foundation, there are women that'll come to you. It's hard. Now, I'm not saying it's easy, because picking a partner is always going to be hard, and
Right.
and that's what I even say about the women's. Like when we talk about picking a partner for a woman, it's a hard job. I'm not saying it's an easy task, but it is your responsibility as a woman. That is
Right.
your And whoever you choose is what you got to deal with. That's who you chose to be with,
But
in
it goes
terms of
back
if you have a
to
kid with them.
that question that was asked of us. It was the what should red pill guys do? The thing is that, okay, that's where I come in. What do you really want to do? Because as a man, it's up to you what you really want to do. The fact of the matter is that, I can sit here and complain and say, oh, Pookie, Ray, educate lame, Chad and Tyrone, all this other
Literally,
stuff.
somebody just said that
And
too.
that's the thing. I can say all that stuff, right? I can do all that, but then at the end of the day, what am I doing? You know what I'm saying? People are going to do what they're going to do. It's in their human nature to choose and make stupid mistakes and whatnot. However, you as a man, that if you're not getting the type of attention that you want, there is a choice. It's either you're going to complain about it or you're going to work hard on it. And the thing
Bingo.
about it is, if you're not going to work hard on it, then you're just going to sit there and complain about it. That's why I've had when I was at 500 subscribers, I had black pill guys going after me, and I fought them off. But the
and it
fact of
takes
the matter is,
and it takes just accountability. It takes for you to look in the mirror and say, I am where I'm at because of my decisions. This is a direct consequence of all of my decisions. Okay, and if I want to go to a different place, I have to do something different. That's
Mhm.
all it takes. And whether that be going to educate yourself on how you can save your money a little bit better to get to that place, or whatever. But somebody said this in the chat, and I'm gonna get to the super chat question, because obviously that's a super chat question. I got to get into that. But somebody said in the chat, a lot of times women just want to test your might. They want to see if you have what it takes to get them. And I understand the challenge, and every woman and every like race of women have that challenge. The only problem that I have with it is when it gets to the point where it's kind of combative, because it is going to be a turnoff for a lot of women, unless you want that overly aggressive man. And I do see a lot of women that are interested in that overly aggressive man. I hear a lot of women saying, if he don't hit me or if it ain't toxic, I don't want it. And I'm like, I mean, I don't know.
that's on you. But also another thing too, as a man, you have to understand that but you have the right to choose as well. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can choose the women that you want to be with. You can choose the women that you want to have around. You choose the people that you even associate with. Okay, let's start there. You choose the people that you associate with. If you're gonna choose, like, show me your friends and I'll show you where you are in 5 years. You know what
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
You're saying like that. Show me your friends and I'll show you where you are in 5 years. Show me your girlfriend and I'll show you where you're gonna be in 5 years. You know what I'm saying? And that usually depends on how you are. You know what I'm saying? But
Mhm.
that's the beauty of being a man. I love waking up and being a man. You know what I'm saying? Because
I
I
do
get to
too.
choose what I really want to do, and I get to choose and I get to choose who comes into my life. Okay,
Right.
women get to choose who they sleep with. We get to choose who we put in our circles. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Um. Um. Why do so many black women prefer Pookie, Pookie Ray Rays and Devontavious? That's OC. That's crazy. With the waves, and it's, I got waves, but y'all gotta chill out, man. Don't get it. Hey, I got something under this hat. Don't get it twisted. I got something cooking in the microwave. All right, but
I got
waves
free.
in the hair well into their
That's
40s and beyond. And the whole 40s and beyond thing is because a lot of women don't. I won't say a lot of women. Some women have never had to grow up, and whether that have been because they had never ever gone back and to reflect on what their choices have gotten them, or where their choices have gotten them, or whatever. But a lot of women, some women don't have to grow up ever. They're allowed to go from go from being in the teens to go into 18, where they're the most attractive thing on the market. So people are going to agree with them all the time. That's the thing that people don't get. When men hit 18, we have to work or die. You stack or starve as a man. As soon as you hit 18, you realize, oh, the world doesn't care about me unless I'm productive. And we have to go out and get it. And so it builds character, because it means you have to go up to women and fail. It means you have to go try for that job interview and fail. And this is the only way you progressively get better at stuff. Women don't have that, because as soon as they hit 18, they have They have that intrinsic, they have that inherited value because they have a womb, and everybody wants them. And if they say anything is right, if they say anything is right, because women are generally agreeable. So if they're talking to a woman, they'll just say, "Yeah, girl, you got it. You go, sis. You go, sis. You know you." And if they're talking to a man, well, the man just wants to have sex with them, so they're gonna tell them they right all the time. So
Mhm.
you know what I mean. Some women just don't ever have to grow up and become accountable for where their lives have gotten them, and some women don't understand. Like these women that are calling the Kevin Samuels show, I'm like, so y'all know he do this show every single night, and I know y'all heard it because y'all here, and you 48, you know what he's gonna do. You know how it's gonna come. You know how
Yeah.
he's gonna have it. You know what I mean? But they come on anyway, and they just don't. It's because they're just. I don't know what it is about some people and some women in general. They just don't get it, and it's some men like that too. It's some men that be 30 years old and they don't get it. They're in their house. They're in their parents' house doing whatever they want to do in the basement with the lotion, if you get what I'm saying, with the hoodie up, turned up with
Shit,
the just blue screen on their
I'm telling
face all
you.
day, and they don't
I'm
want
telling
to go out and get it. And it goes both ways, but it is unfortunate to see and these are the women that become the bitter aunts. These are the women that eventually teach the younger ladies, hey, you don't need a man. I look at me, I made it. You see him at the barbecue. Come on now, you see him at the barbecue. You see
you.
them at the barbecue.
Yeah,
They
no,
there.
I've
They
done, I've. That's why I had to distance myself from certain family members. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like the problem is that all right, I get that you don't like men, and I don't want to be a part of this. You know what I'm saying? At a certain, like I said again, it's a choice at the end of the day what you're really gonna do, and it's up to you what you're gonna do because I can't make the choices for you. All right, I'm just a guy just making the content. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's it.
Oh,
It
somebody said take it off. So y'all trying to get me to take my head off? Y'all trying to do a wave check? Stop playing games. Y'all got any more questions? Anybody got some hot questions, hot topics? Because I pretty
there's a
much
question
dove into what I wanted
that
to dive
says
into
there's a
in
question
terms of
that says, "What's wrong with not wanting a nerd?"
where
I
you
don't know.
at.
Mia Lopez is like all the way at the bottom. It
Oh,
says
okay,
Mia
I got you.
Lopez. What's wrong
What's
with not
wrong
wanting
with
a nerd?
not wanting a nerd? Nothing is wrong with not wanting a nerd. The
Hell,
problem is when a woman then goes on to deal with the man that she gets rejected by that she liked, she then has a issue with all men, as if all men were bad, as if she didn't reject the men that were wanting to be good men to her. So it ain't nothing about rejecting the nerd. You cannot date the nerd. That's not the problem. The problem is when some people don't want to have the self accountability to realize you chose not to date the nerd. So when the nerd goes on to become Bill Gates, don't come knocking at the door and saying he's wrong in some kind of way for wanting to do whatever he wants to do with his money and with his life now.
yeah,
And that's what happens. People, women sometimes they chase these guys. They chase these guys that are out of their reach, and
right,
and they stay with and they, like since they know they're out of their reach, they want to lock them down. So what they do to lock them down, and a lot of times the people don't want to talk about this. So some women they go ahead and get pregnant by the dude.
right.
And
Well,
if you ask
also,
me, go ahead.
I, well, I'll say this, man. She says, "What's wrong with not wanting a nerd?" Well, okay, let's take it from a gender perspective. When women see a
Oh,
guy,
good lord, this is a troll.
I know, right?
Come on now,
I know, right? But the thing is, all
that's
right,
a troll. There's no way.
yeah,
It's,
no one needs a man. Yeah, okay, well, all right. Well, but to
it's
answer
no way that's real life. Like, come, what are we doing?
but to answer the damn question, but to end the question, all right, let's look at it from a gender perspective. Do I like nerdy women? Hell yeah, I do. But I don't think it really goes the same way with nerdy girls wanting nerdy guys. Now there's an exception to the rule, okay? But I think that the problem is that again, it's human nature what we really want and what we're striving to get. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
At the end of the day, women still want that. Even if she is a dorky, nerdy girl, right? She still wants to get. She's still a woman, okay? She still wants the guy that's still brolic and all that other stuff. She'll have crushes on. She'll have crushes on the guy with the six pack who plays football before the guy that is nerd. But for the nerdy guy, it's the same thing. Like we will like the girl that has the big butt or the big titties way before the girl that probably doesn't look like that. I've learned that over the years, but I've dealt with like nerdy girls myself. So, and something.
But
I mean,
is that like that's the thing? See, I feel like that with that idea. Here's my problem with that idea is I don't see that longevity. I see a lot of dudes messing with these women and finding out that it ain't what they wanted, and so they leave these women alone. And that's why you see these girls. They be with all that plastic surgery and they may have that body, but they're 40 years old and they're trying to show their purses on Instagram because they're not happy. A lot of
yeah,
these men have rejected those women. There's no longevity in them. The girls that are at the picnics or at the whatever, the girls that are sticking with the girls that the guys are gonna stick with are usually not these Instagram model type of women. Like
Yeah, that's right.
it's
Yeah.
not very many men that actually want these Instagram model type of women. It's just that women see that as a model of success. They see that as a person that gets flown out. They see the flights, they see the purses, they see the pool, and they think that this is a certain lifestyle. But nobody really knows that that woman's just being used and abused. She know what she's getting flown out for, and
Yeah.
they ain't reciting Bible verses. All right,
Yes.
they ain't in there baking cookies. We know what they're here for.
Yeah, yeah, look,
Okay,
look.
so you know what I mean. So like, I think that a lot of women get that mixed up with longevity, and usually I don't see the longevity in a lot of those women. Like, in all honesty,
Yeah,
I
me
don't know.
neither. And like, I'm not really the guy. Like on paper and all that stuff. Yeah, an Instagram model looks good, and she's the one. She's the woman that I crave, right? But that's not the woman I really want. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But am
So
I saying that I don't? But,
I'm sorry,
uh,
because it hits all those spots in your brain, that primal spot. Oh, big boobs. Oh, big, you know what I mean? Oh, that must mean estrogen, because usually that's what it is. Like if you see a
right,
girl with big boobs, you're just attracted to the estrogen that she may have.
right.
And it's natural, but that's the primal instinct. You know what I mean? And after the fun is over, after you get that first one out of the way, then it's like,
Like
who is this
clarity,
person?
post
Who
nut
is this person? You know what
clarity.
I mean? Like,
Clarity. Yeah,
and a
once
lot
you
of the
get
women that have and a lot of the women that have depended on that look don't really have a lot of skills as far as outside of their looks.
oh
I
yeah,
mean, I've
dude, I've
I've
learned that the hard way.
I've met
I've
some of these women before. Like I'm like, who? Like you guys aren't even people. You're just purses. Like you're not even human being. Like they don't even act like they don't even have an opinion on stuff. They just sit and do makeup. And I
yeah.
mean, I'm
There was
like, is there any depth? Like, is this
I'll give you a thing. So I was in New York, and I lived in New York for 3 years. I lived in Brooklyn for 3 years. Shout out to all my Brooklyn viewers. And I met this girl, beautiful Puerto Rican, and we dated for like 2 weeks, and look, she had everything I wanted. I was like, oh my god, and she played video games. I wasn't there, right? But after a while, after when the whole casual stuff ended, right? Did I realize that once I got that, post nut clarity, I was like, oh man, okay. This woman does nothing for me except just give me good sex. And I'm like, all right, that, at a certain point. But when I started talking to her, right, and I was like, yeah, none of this really, like, I can't really relate to you. You know what I'm saying?
okay? Yeah, I get no, I get exactly what you're saying, because after that happens, I mean, what are we doing? But I gotta go ahead and get this out of the way. Let me try to find this comment, because she keeps. I mean, I want her to listen to this too. I want Mia to hear me out on this topic. Men have preferences, but women have preferences too. Yes, this is true. Okay, this is very very true. But the modern women, the women of today, seem to not be very good at picking at choosing their preferences, if you get what I'm saying. Like, yes,
Right.
you have preferences, but you still have to look for things inside of people if you want to actually get to the level you say you want to get to. Because if you're trying to wait at the finish line, there's a lot of girls that are waiting at the finish line, and you're not going to be the one that gets picked more than likely. So you got to try to get these guys at an early stage. I don't know what this misconception is, that you just wait at the finish line and you're going to be pretty enough to be the one that gets chosen because he's your preference. That's not how it works. And I think Kevin Samuels has done a good job at debunking this, that high value men who end up working in their 20s and get to their 30s, they have the leverage. They're the ones that gets to make the decisions of what they want. And when men have a lot of opportunities, they tend to exercise all of them. Who are we
Right.
kidding? Especially when they didn't get a chance to in their 20s. Okay, so we have a well, and this is in the black community, but it's raising everywhere in terms of the 78% children out of wedlock. This is a direct influence of women choosing. These are the preferences that women are having, and this is a direct influence of it. And why do I say that? Because you don't bring a child into the world without a woman. Okay, we
Mm.
could do, there's the four gate. I do it on my channel. You four gates of protection before you get to a child. So anytime a woman wants to carry a child, that's her decision. You got birth control. Okay, if you don't want to do birth control, condoms. If you don't want to do condoms, Plan B. If you don't want to use a plan B, you have reproductive rights as a woman in America. Okay. And I say the disclaimer every time. I don't necessarily agree with it, but it's an option. Okay. So women have been exercising these preferences and nobody's upset about that. The reason why people start to turn ahead and start to address it as a problem is because these women end up 30 with 2 kids because of their preferences, and then they want a man to take care of them. And if men don't want to take care of them, they are in some way bad, or all men are bad, or men are abandoning their children or whatever,
Now
whatever
for
that may be.
now
And
for me,
you going, I'm sorry, go ahead.
now for me, I can look at it like that, and I can say all that, and I agree with you, and I agree with you. But I also go back to the choices that I can make. You know what I'm saying? She
Right,
doesn't want to make that choice. She wants to make her choices. Cool. I'm going to make mine. You know what I'm
right.
saying? Like I'm not going to and it kind of goes back to where our red pill rage kind of goes in. You know what I'm saying? I could get mad at the information that I have. You know what I'm saying? Out of all the women that come to me about their problems and all that other stuff, I'm just like, well, that's your choice. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing I can do about it. That is your choice. I'm not going to get upset at your choice.
Mhm.
I can't get upset at my choices because it's either I made the choice to go up to her, I made the choice to get rejected. I have to live with certain choices. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And even when I'm with a girl, I'm just like, all right, I made the choice to not wear a condom, or I made the choice to wear a condom. I made the choice to have sex with her and all that stuff. So at the end of the day, I understand what you're saying, and I get you, and I understand you. You know what I'm saying? However, I can say to myself, you know what? Hey, look, listen, she wants to choose. That's her choice. I'm gonna leave her alone. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And for us, and I'm just saying this as men, right? We need to take into an account of our choices. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think we usually do that. We kind of go into the well, women's choices, but we also have choices too. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I think what we really need to do, and that's what I go on into my channel, my podcast, is the choices that we can make. You know what I'm saying? We're all about choices. You know what I'm saying? But what do we choose to do? Do we choose to go? Do we choose to get angry about it, or do we as men, because men are very calculated, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Do we
because we think
or
logically and not emotionally.
yeah,
If you're the right kind of man, some men are overly emotional and they like to put on a persona as being tough, and but they have, you tell them one thing and they're willing to fight you over a video game. So yeah, yeah, it's because we're based on logic basically as well. I'm agreeing with you though.
mhm. Yeah, but I mean, for me, like, look, listen, it there needs to be, okay, men have accountability. We have to be accountable for our actions. That's number
Yeah,
one. And number
100%.
two, number two, we need to be conscious of the choices that we make. Now, whether
Right,
or not you were going to be like that, that's on you. You know what I'm saying? But that's on me. You know what I'm saying? Because even for me, I can say all the stuff that you're saying, right? But then I
right.
also choose to say, you know what? I also can choose not to be with these sorts of women. You know what I'm saying? But because I've had this information in my head for a while, and I go out there and I fail, and I go out there and I see this sort of stuff, now I'm not very angry about it. You know what I'm saying? Because guess what? Okay, she might look good. Okay, she might have kids. What's the choice going to be? Am I going to keep this going, or am I just going to ignore it and walk away? You know what I'm
See,
saying?
the,
And, and,
the
and most,
thing,
most of the time, that's me. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, but the thing is, like, also when men have our preferences, we have to deal, like you said, we have to have the accountability, and we are forced to deal with the consequences of our choices. Regardless, the government holds us to a standard where we're forced to deal with our consequences. If we choose the wrong woman, we don't have anybody to pin that on. They
Right.
just they just take all of your resources and they get to run off into the sunset with a new man and
Mhm.
live off of your money. So
Right.
we have real life situations where we can't get out of our accountability. You know what I mean? Like if
Right.
if you're not accountable as a man, there you have child support put in place. It ain't you
Mhm.
know what I'm saying? Like there are things put in systems put in place that make sure that men are held accountable. But women, generally speaking, aren't held as much accountable. And I wouldn't have a problem with that. The only time I do have a problem with that is when you want to exercise your right to be equal to men, or you want to exercise your choice to not be traditional, and then you want to complain that things aren't catered to you. You know what I
Right.
mean? Things like when we have divorce, when we have what is it? When we have given 50%, what is whatever. When we have women getting 50% from divorce, that was set from a model of traditional women who spent time at home with kids. So they never had a chance to go out and get a career. And that was put in place to protect them. And I understand that. That makes sense to me. All right. But
Mhm.
if a woman is going out and making almost as much as you do, or more, or I guess if it's more, she'll be paying it, but almost as much as you do. And then she also gets the benefit of your resources if she chooses to leave you. What would you, why would why would she have any? Why would she want to stay? I mean, and you see it in droves. 80% of women. We could all go through all the classic statistics. 80% of women are leaving marriages, and they're the ones walking away from marriages. And as soon as you ask them about that statistic, the first thing that most of them say, not gonna say all, but this is a straw man, by the way, so take it with a grain of salt. But out of my anecdotal experience, most of the women say, well, it's because the men are bad. And I'm like, well, there you go. That's the lack of accountability that I'm talking about. As soon as there's a problem that you have, you're the one filing for divorce, and it's because men. Again, it's always because of men. It always goes back to because of a man. You cheated on your husband because he was away from you while he was going. You just felt lonely. You know what I mean? He's going off to work and provide like he's supposed to do, protect and provide, bringing it back home so you can stay home with the kids and teach the kids, nurture the kids, whatever you got to do with the kids. And you cheat on him because he wasn't around. Well, how do you expect to have that roof over your head? How do you just don't be getting some of the ideas? And it's just okay for them to immediately throw away the accountability sometimes. And I don't really
Well,
agree with that. I think that everybody should take accountability for their actions, and it makes stronger, more powerful, more self-reflective people, more empathetic people too, because everybody then realizes how hard life actually is when you have choices that you have to make. And it's hard to make choices because
well,
that
for me,
means that you're in control of where you go. It's
well,
easy
for
to
me,
just sit on a train and just get taken anywhere. But when you realize, oh, I am the one that's in control of this train, it's a different level of responsibility that you feel like you have with your everyday decisions. And that's super powerful. So, yeah,
for
I think
me,
I did a thing.
But for me, I mean, I can sit here and say all that, but I'm gonna be real honest with
No,
you.
do
I'm not
what you
married.
yeah, do what you got to do. I mean, I
I
have
am
no problem.
single. I am not married, and and I'm not saying I don't plan on being, but also, and I'm not saying I wouldn't. Or I wouldn't say I would, but that what I'm gonna do at the end of the day is my choice.
Yeah.
However, with the laws that I know, okay, and I think with us nowadays, guys want to get married and they want to have kids, and I'm not gonna sit here and say don't, and I'm not gonna say do, but what I will say is to be calculated at that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You are gonna have to learn your state laws. If you don't know who your governor is or you
Hell
don't
yeah.
know the mayor of your town, you should not be getting married. Okay, you don't like, and
Ooh,
it's the same thing as what Kevin Samuel said. If you don't make a short amount of money, what's the point of you getting married? You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
And for me, like, I'm not saying, oh, I'm going to be a bachelor forever and all that other stuff. I'm not going to do all that. But that's not me.
Yeah.
For me, like when I'm very very intricate on how I deal with things. You know what I'm saying? So like I look up my state laws. I know who my state people are. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I'm always about my money. So for me, I'm like, all right, what is cost effective at the time? You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of guys don't think of it as a cost effective thing. They just do it because they're in love and all that other stuff and whatnot. But if
I
you
really
really
and I
go
and because you said that, I really want to have I think Anton Daniels. Is that his you He does it so excellent, man. I'm trying to reach out to this man. I need to get him on here because I'm married and I would love to understand it. But there seems to be a lot of tax breaks for people who are married. Um,
Mhm.
and that's why a lot of people argue that the richest men are all married. Like there's a reason why
Mhm.
all the richest men are married, and it's because the government incentivizes you to get married. And if you understand the laws, there are a crazy amount of hundreds of benefits of marriage in terms of tax breaks and just different advantages in terms of insurance and all kinds of things. So
Yeah.
it's a really good idea. And of course, most men don't go into it thinking that, right? But I don't know. How do you feel about how do you feel about marriage yourself? You do want to get married eventually? Like you're not trying to be a bachelor forever, and
I
you just
never said
educate
that.
yourself.
I never said I'll say this. I never said I would, but I'm not saying I wouldn't.
Okay.
I never said I would, or I'm not saying I wouldn't. What I'm gonna do is my choice. You know what I'm saying? It's my choice, whatever I do. It's not like people get on the internet and say, I'm not gonna get married. I'm not gonna do this. I'm not gonna cohabitate. Lo and behold, your favorite content creators are cohabitating and all this other stuff. And they get exposed for doing so. So for
Yeah.
me, and I'm just a regular guy. I'm just a guy with a microphone. You know what I'm saying? So
Well,
for me, right, I'm never gonna say to anybody, I said I live with my choices. So if I were to say, if I were to make a video tomorrow and said I got married to this girl and people unsubscribe from me because of that, well, okay, that's my choice. All right. And because people put on this persona of red pill, I think that's another thing. when you put on this persona of red pill, what are you trying to do? What is your end goal? Trying to be a definition of something on the internet. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right, right. Are you talking? Was that a question targeted to me or?
No, 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 no. It's
Okay,
just
yeah, okay. I thought that
you
that
know.
was a statement, but I wasn't sure. We got some people having some really interesting conversations up in here, and this is kind of where I am about it. Marriage is very helpful because two incomes, but there are a lot of people today who aren't married marriage material. Marriage is considerable for me.
No,
See,
and I
and
agree.
that's
I
kind of
agree
where
with
I
that.
am about it because I just see the value in how much and somebody else said you get married or married men make more because they have to. And see, and that's what I like. I like the concept of I have to go grind because I have a family to provide for. And I feel like for men, a lot of the motivation that we have, a lot of the fulfillment, at least me as a person, like me personally, a lot of fulfillment I have is when I can go and be resourceful and bring something back to people that I enjoy. You know what I mean? People who also enjoy me. Now, I do agree that I also agree that marriage is good for specifically black people because a lot of us are in low or middle class situations. More men are in the middle class situations, more women are in the lower class situations. That's because of for whatever reason. We could go on that forever. But
Right, right.
that whatever the case may be, that is the case. So how do you get into upper middle class? Well, if you marry each other, now you got two incomes. You know what I
Right.
mean? And even eventually, if that man or the woman wants to leave her field, you've already saved it. You have the foundation to go now invest in the Dogecoin. You know what I mean? And 10 times your money or take business ventures and have other opportunities. When you are living by yourself, it keeps so much pressure on you and I think some men need the motivation. I think some men lack a lot of motivation. I think some men seek out relationships because they see the value in it in terms of having somebody to have to work for, having a purpose. You know what I mean? Like it's almost as if our desire to protect and provide is so innate in us. And obviously, this is what has allowed us to get to this point in civilization. But it's
Well,
so innate in us that a lot of men sometimes feel empty if they don't reach that point. It's almost similar to how some women don't, or how some women feel empty if they don't give birth or don't have anyone to nurture because
well,
it's just so fulfilling for us. And how do you know it's fulfilling? Is because you don't need to get paid for it. You know what I mean?
well,
You go home,
well, it
I'm
goes
happy
back.
to bring a check. I'm sorry. You want to go ahead in there?
Well, it goes back to the thing that we were just saying. There was a video by I'll give you the video link. It's by a guy named Short Fat Otaku called "Where Have All the Good Men Gone?" And it's very and it's a very intricate. He's not a red pill guy. He's a social commentator just like me. So he goes into the depth of where we are in society. And both parties and both genders at a certain point, we're making all this money, we're living our lives, we're on our purpose, we're leveling up, we're doing all this other stuff, right? But at the end of the day, we're not happy because why we're not because well, first off, we're it's not a figment of our imagination that the Western societies have seen low birth rates, right?
Yeah. Oh no,
Not only
that's true. That's a fact. I
and
mean,
our,
we
our
can't ignore
testosterone
that.
men's testosterone rates gone down and stuff like that. We're not
Plummeting, by the way.
happy.
That's a red flag. But
Yeah,
yeah,
and for all of us, right? We're not having families because of again the influence of the media or certain agendas. You know what I'm saying? But also another thing too is where our priorities lie. Now, I'm not saying that that men and women should get in relationships just haphazardly. You know what I'm saying? What
right.
I would say is that rethink why you do certain things. For feminists, it would be why are you a feminist? For red pill guys, it would be why are you red pills? Because
What's the goal? What are we doing here?
like,
Like, where are you going
what
with
are
this?
you doing?
Right.
Because I think for a lot of guys that come into this space, they see all of this glitz and glamour, they want to be a bachelor, they want to have multiple women
Yeah.
rotations, all this other stuff. And to a certain point, I'm like, all right, I get it, it's cool and all that. And well, but when you do it, do you feel happy at the end of the day? At the end of the day, what is this what you really want to be for the rest of your life? Is this and for a lot of guys, that's not them, and they know it. But
Yeah.
the fact of the matter is you're putting on a persona for people that you don't know. Okay. You don't know me. You don't know the Poor Man's Podcast.
Right.
So, but with the information that we give you, what kind of choices are you going to make? Okay. That's up to you. Okay. And
And the
whatever you do, and whatever you do, I'm not going to sit here and say that, oh, you got married. Okay. Oh my God. We're red pilled. You're getting married and you're red pilled. There are guys that are red pilled that are married. I've interviewed them. You know what I'm saying?
you said there are guys that are married that are red pill.
Yeah. There are guys that I've interviewed that are red
Yeah.
pilled.
I'm married and I'm red pill, but the thing that The thing that I use it for though is to see, the thing is when women understand certain things and and they understand that they are also accountable for their actions. And I always teach my wife this, to be accountable for, to look for situations where you could have done better. Even when women can do that and they can self-reflect and they know, okay, you can believe whatever you want. I want you to stay fit so we can go do things. Okay, we can live a long life together. All right. So these are you. I'm laying out prerequisites that she wants to meet. You know what I mean? And she has demands from me as well. And I think that that's a part of a man's purpose, to have to be okay. Like, it's so fulfilling. And let me get back into that though, because I feel like you can tell the fulfillment by the way you don't have to get paid to do it. Like,
Right.
jobs will pay you, and this is not an original idea, by the way. Jordan Peterson came up with this, but and I'm gonna start crediting people for ideas that I use, because people get sensitive about it. But
Yeah.
um, you could tell it's fulfillment because you don't have to get paid to do it. Jobs pay you money because they know that you would rather be doing other things than being there. Okay. I don't have to get paid to bring a paycheck back to my wife because it has its own fulfillment.
Right.
She doesn't have to get paid to have a child and to nurture it because it has its own fulfillment. There's innate fulfillment in those things we do. And that's how you can tell when something has actual fulfillment or if it's just glitz and glam. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people fall into the glitz and glam scheme. A lot of women go out there like, I don't want kids. Dude, I'm good single. I don't, but
And I'll say
is it
another thing
true?
too.
Like,
I'll
in a
say
lot of
another
the,
thing too. I've been seeing this here in this space, and it's that guys always say this. Oh, guys always say, "Oh, I don't want to have kids," and all that other stuff. It's the same thing. So it's like two of the same coin. Feminism, and I'll say this too, and I know that's going to get a little bit controversial. Red pill and feminism do need each other to survive. You know what I'm saying? Without red pill, without feminism, there is no red pill.
I'm
Without
out of a
red
job. Without feminism, I'm out of a
like,
job.
we're
That's
both
what I
out of
do.
a job. What are we going to talk about? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like what is Red Sings the Blues and the Poor Man's Podcast going to talk about? You know what I'm saying?
I got
But if
some things.
that was
I got some ideas for the future, man. I ain't gonna separate, but I might start going into other endeavors in terms of finding solutions for us, because I need to start interviewing. Like, I have a real big goal for uh finding a way to give back to the community. I just don't know how to do it. So I need to sit down with scholars. I need to sit down with people who can tell me what I need to do or where I need to put my money in order to be able to give back, because I'm really interested in that. I like trust me, I like my nice things. I'm not against nice things,
right,
but I
right,
also like to. It's all, maybe it's that like protect and provide thing in me that I don't know. I like to give back also. That's a
right,
goal of mine, like a genuine goal of mine. So to have these resources and to have these platforms, I want to use them as much as possible to uplift other creators. And that's not discriminatory, by the way. A lot of people like to think that I got to be discriminatory because I'm black. And that's not true. Now, I will use group politics like everybody else, and I will help my own too. But if there's a white guy that I agree with, why can't he come on here? Why can't he talk to me about the same situations that we both going through in terms of women? Now, there are some topics we aren't going to agree with. We
right.
aren't going to be able to have. And that's why the Black Manosphere actually separated. I heard from O'Shea, and you may be able to confirm it, but O'Shea said that we separated from the regular Manosphere because there was so much racism towards specifically Black women.
Mhm.
So, you know what I mean? And with
Well,
that being said, if
there's
there was
also
any of that
other
disrespect
things.
on my channel, it's
Well,
no way.
there
You
are
out of here.
also other things that went into that. There were other content creators that were there were other content creators that were considerably racist in the in certain ranks. Now, I'm not gonna say who. I'm not gonna do that. That's not my thing. But you stay in this space and you start learning the history of this space, which is what I do. I learn about, I get into the nitty gritty of what this space really is, what the red pill really is, and you know what I'm saying. With this information, it's a little bit harsh. You know what I'm saying. And with that being said, there are lots of things that guys don't know about this space, and what I know will surprise you. You know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But something. There was a guy that was talking about. We didn't read his comment. Wise Nubian, I think he was. Hey man,
Wise
look,
Nubian. Did he do a super chat?
I don't know, but if he
Wise
wants,
Nubian.
hey, look, listen, if you want to come up on the StreamYard and you want to talk to us, man, I definitely call in.
I think he's in now. Are you okay with having a
Hell yeah, let's do it.
Wise Nubian
Thank you.
in the building?
What's up, man?
Thank you, young man, for encouraging the poor man's broadcast to hear what I got to say. Brother, I've been around for over 15 years on YouTube, and most of the people who do what they do now got it from me. I'm not being arrogant, I'm being real. And
Okay.
although you young brothers are millenniums, I'm glad you gave me the opportunity to say what I need to say because I've been trying to get my message out here. And I've been literally black and blackballed because I'm telling the truth. All the manosphere, all the MACTile and all that, young men, you don't even have to go there. And we don't need feminists. We absolutely do not need feminists. I'm going to tell you why. Feminists were set up by, okay, for the sake of Mr. Young Man over here, poor man cast, I won't use the term skin monkey. I just say
Oh, good
Caucasians.
God.
But my point is they promoted the problem of feminism among women of color in the early 60s and 70s. Women of color didn't have problems with men of color. We both struggled. We both got the boot. We both were segregated, discriminated, and killed. All the way to the 60s, 70s, 50s, 40s. It was always the same. Ain't never changed.
Right.
But when the
No, I agree.
Caucasians decide to change the narrative and empower the woman of color, she knew that she first had no choice but to get the man of color out of the house in order to get that government stuff when she
Right.
desperately needed.
Well, I
And
mean,
Well,
you
that was
can't blame her
here's the-
because the man could not get it just over broke because he was of color. And when other ethnic groups start coming into America, then he was not able to provide anymore unless he went self-sufficient or got into the armed service or got a government job, something that
but
the
see, that's
majority of
what,
men of color did not get. Go ahead,
but
brother.
that's where I'm at with it. I can't like, and I know I spoke about this before. Y'all probably have seen it before, but I mean, at some point, even black women would have had to understand that they are being shammed. Now, I do agree that white women did create the feminist movement, and I think that they recruited the black woman as an attack dog on black men to be able to have a way to, number one, destroy the family, because that's how you get good economics. But number two, to quiet the black man, because anytime a black man does come up to a certain amount of power, it does seem to be black women that want to pull him down. When you look at black
Right.
Twitter, a lot of black women defending white women, which is weird to me.
Can I add to that?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I'm sorry, but no, but let me conclude real quick. Let me just conclude it real quick because we do agree with that, but at the same time, I agree that, or I think that it's your responsibility to realize when the jig is up, especially when the men are telling you that the jig is up and you still don't want to listen to it. See, now we're at the point where we have so many black men speaking to black women, but they feel like anytime a man speaks to them, they got to go into defense mode because now they've been taught that anything a man thinks or tells them is bad. We're against
The
them.
diagnose. We got to work with the diagnose, young brother. The diagnose goes like this. First off, I'm not blaming just the Caucasian women and the so-called BW female. What I'm giving you the dissection of what really happened, being that I seen it before you was born. Okay, I'm 58 years old, and I don't mean no disrespect. I'm just saying that to tell you, from when I was your age, I was deep involved in observing. When Sarah Ali came out with the Black Man's Guide to Black Woman, the women went crazy over that because they knew she was telling the truth and they couldn't stand it. And so these women are the problems for Generation X and the millenniums right now. The millenniums are lost. I'm just going to tell you, the zillennium, whatever came after that, they lost. And the reason why they lost, because Generation X refused to cow down to discipline of their children because they were so busy talking about how their mothers was tortured by the daddy who was trying to survive and keep the family together. Now, if you do any research with your mother or your father and ask them, they'll co-sign what I'm saying. Now, let me go a little deeper than that. The situation of today is they try to make you a victim by filling your brain with, you can make it. Don't worry about yesteryears while your young men of your color getting shot in the street and killed more than you know. And the majority of the young people, millennium females, don't want to hear nothing because they're unapologetic correct. They are shame slamming or shaming. You can't tell them nothing. They know everything. They're in Disney World, unrealistic. Before K Samuels came on, I was teaching this. Before Umar Johnson came on, I was teaching this. If you go back, if you can find any of my videos, because they took them down when I was talking like this, because I wasn't the upright Negro PM that talked the talk they wanted me to talk. So if you do any research on Wise Nubian, you will find out I've been saying this for over 15 years prior to it being popular. Now, all that is to say, aside from wanting to get my own stream and get people to support me and plug into my videos, what I'm saying to you, young man, is this a way to talk to these individuals who come out with the hip hop or proper word, hotep pimps, and the Negro peons that think that you got to go their way to survive. You don't have to follow the Caucasian culture. You don't have to be educated by the Caucasian culture to learn the truth about what I'm saying. You can get your own business. You could be a high value man under your rules, regulations, and culture. You don't have to simulate just because a well-dressed person in the European culture dictates that to you. Do I make any sense?
I'm getting where you're going. I'm getting where you're going.
Okay, can I continue to go?
But
yeah, I mean, if you wanna, it looks like we at 225
okay.
now. You know, I'm an analyst.
Okay, all right.
If the numbers
I'll
looking
be
right,
quick.
I mean, we can keep it going for a little bit longer, but we're gonna have to get back to this discussion eventually. But
yes, sir. Okay, so what I'm saying, young man, is what you're doing is great. What you could do even more is zero in on what's really working. Okay, you have been abused, whether you know it or not. If you come from a single parent household, you have been abused and manipulated to take down the word they use is it's hard to say because it's so stupid. But I put it in another way. Time you are challenged for your manhood.
Hold on a second, man. Hold on 1 second before I let you go.
Yes, sir.
Actually, I have both my parents in my life, so I just want to let you know.
Okay. Then I come correct with you too.
Well, I mean, yeah, but we're
I want to hold you accountable on that. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. I appreciate that. Right on.
I do have my family in my life. I do know my mother, biological mother, biological father.
Okay.
So
what do you think? What do you think is the next step as far as 2021?
Okay, the next step is you have to regurgitate everything you learn from Western society. That's it. It's like having a cold. You got to nurture that cold until you get out your system. In my opinion, Western culture is a cold. Okay, it constantly gets you sick and debunked from reality. You need to be in your manosphere as a man. You are not to be questioned about your manhood by the opposite sex.
Why?
If you say,
I'm sorry. Why do you think Western culture is bad?
Okay, as a commentator, I can respect you asking that question.
No, yeah, I have to dig in. I have to.
No, you have to. Good. I tell you why.
I would ask, and these are the questions that I'm sure other people ask.
I'm about to answer
a little
you.
Devil advocate-y, and that's probably
no. You doing it right. I'm not mad at you. You doing right. I'm not mad at you. Let me answer it. The reason why it's bad because everything right is wrong. Everything wrong is right. They feed you false religion, false culture, false holidays, false everything. If you do just a little research in anything they promote, it's always negative. Black Friday, do you know where that came from?
I'm sure it has a negative history because it seems like everything that is presented has a negative history. Is that the Wall Street thing where they were selling black folks on the what's called on the?
Well,
street?
not Wall Street, but it was definitely they were selling people of color on the chopping block as slaves. So the whole Black Friday is based on that. And for anybody who have any history about that will not accept that. Just like a picnic. All right, they would sit out there have picnics, seeing men of color and kill.
But like I'm saying, like, so you believe that we need to burn down Western society in order to go forward as people?
No, that is not what I said. I believe that we should
So what do you mean? Like,
we should associate, disconnect with them. See all this preaching in the street and boycotting, far as getting out there, getting yourself killed, stabbed, bombed, attacked by dogs. That's stupid. We way too intelligent for that. You deal with them on an economic level. You don't buy from them. You don't support their business. You don't support anything. You encourage your people to start grocery stores, rent, housing, everything work among your people of color. Every other race do that but people of color in America. You have to beat them economically and then they will listen to you. Period.
So basically what you're saying is Black Wall Street again. Because we had
don't be bombing you, because hopefully your people and my people will have a sense to fight back. If you pull a gun on me, I'm going to pull one back on you. If you attack me, I'm going to attack you. We have to learn the real attack. If someone is stalking you, lying to you, oppressing you, taking your life, killing your brothers and sisters, find out where they live and watch how things change.
Okay. Definitely.
That's all you have to do.
I've always been for Black economics, and that's something I promote on the channel. So I have no disagreements with that. Do I believe that there's going to please adjust speaking points? Do I believe that there is going to be a need of some kind? Do you believe the absolute? What would it be? Desegregation or deintegration? What would it be? What's the opposite of integration with other communities in terms of capitalism? Because I have an idea that. Let me ask you. Let me go ahead and finish this thought.
Okay.
I have the idea that to get to a certain level of capital at some point, and I'm looking at the top of a lot of industries that Black people do pretty well in. I'm looking at music industry, entertainment as a whole. A lot of industries at the very top level are going to have some kind of influence outside of our culture. And so do we just push that aside, and instead of getting that capital and bringing it back to us, do we just neglect that in order to feel like we got to only do business with ourselves? Are you saying that we can't also do business with people to bring back to our community? If we're talking about just like Black people, right? Because I really want to talk about.
First, you kind of you asked a lot of questions, but you haven't gave me a chance to answer them. So let me answer them so we could be on point.
Well, I was trying to finish my thoughts.
I apologize. Go ahead, young man.
No, that was the end of it. I guess the base.
Okay.
Is,
so you ready for me to answer?
The base question is this. I'm gonna just make the question simpler so it doesn't have to be so long. Do you believe that people should, or do you believe that Black people should be able to integrate to get capital in order to bring it back to their community? I guess that's the base of the question.
Yes and no. Yes, we need to integrate from a standpoint how Koreans come in our neighborhood and sell gym shoes and they stuff. How Arabs come in our neighborhood and sell they liquor that they don't even drink because it's haram, and sell their product to you, and you don't get nothing from them other what they sell. They don't contribute anything to your neighborhood. So my point on the yes, we need to sell to them and not buy back from them like they do us. And that's all races. We need to only integrate as individuals making a decision to do that, because you're a grown man or woman and you have every right to make a decision like that. If you feel you're not really connected to the so-called Black manosphere or Black people and all that, then you need to recognize that if you don't be separate and independent and learn about your history, your culture from your forefathers, you ain't gonna have much to work with in the near future. Did I answer your question?
No, yeah, I got it. I appreciate it. Let me go ahead and get it back to where we was going. But I really appreciate that. I really do appreciate that, because I think we have a lot more similar views than a lot of people think. I don't know, just because we have a lot more in common than a lot of people think. So let me just go ahead and get back to it. But I really do appreciate you coming on, and you are an elder. I'm always going to let you speak and do whatever you got to do in terms of getting that message across, because I believe that there are certain people that have knowledge that I won't be able to have as a 25-year-old. So I'm willing to listen to it. Like I look up, well, not look up to, but I respect opinions from people that I feel like may have experienced more. And even if that opinion I don't agree with everything in it, I respect it still because it's usually pretty educating. It's usually based off, facts. You get where I'm going with it. It's
I
Yeah.
give
yeah,
I give logic and facts. I don't try to get caught up on the bad and the good when it comes to different races. We all know they have issues like us, but we are not going to be penalized continuously in the narrative of saying we're negative, we're criminals, everybody act the same. I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't chase women bouncing up and down butt naked, and I ain't in the weed wave and all the facades that they try to put on people of color when everybody got their ups and downs.
yeah. No, yeah, I got you. But I appreciate you for coming on, man. I really do appreciate
Yes,
you for that.
sir.
Yeah.
No
I have a
problem.
good one.
Thank you. Respect.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Always one of the elders, man, coming in. You know what that remind me of, bro? When I'm at the when I'm at the table,
What's up?
it ain't got nothing to do with it. But my uncle just come up and he say something,
Yeah.
he just
Yeah.
get to
No,
talking to it.
I usually listen to
Yeah,
these
no, all
talks,
the
man.
time, every
It
time.
gets
Like when my
really
grandmother
interesting.
talked to me, and when older people, yeah, you gotta listen to that,
Mhm.
man. Like that's part of it. That's you get to figure out, you get to find them because they was the ones that was there, so you get to feel the emotion from it too. You know what I mean? But yeah, I get it. But I mean, what did you want to keep going, or did you want to talk about anything else? I think we hit all the points.
I
We
mean,
actually went way longer than I expected.
I think we've honestly hit a lot of good points today. Honestly, I mean, I mean, did it kind of go like a little weird? But
Oh,
yeah,
it got
yeah,
crazy.
but I mean, for me anyway, I usually do this on my channel anyway. I usually listen to people that are older than me because some of my people that are on my channel on my podcast that talk to me are usually older. Some of them are younger. But listen. I I understand where people are coming from. You know what I'm saying? When it
Yeah,
came down to Nubian, I think more or less like I understand the whole thing with a black Wall Street having our own black economics because I'm definitely a very I'm an advocate for it because
yeah,
the fact of the matter is that yeah the thing is that we have all we have the technology, we have the information at the palm of our fingertips, but I think where it comes down to is leadership. Okay, we can say all these things, right? But I think at the end of the day the thing would be leadership, you know what I'm saying? Because another thing too would kind of drag into this what the topic was about is that the guys that the guys that get rejected, they you don't know if they're leaders or not. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah.
for me, I didn't think for any lack of better words that most guys would be coming over to my some people hit me up on my DMs asking to interview me. So I see that I am now a leader in some people's eyes, you know what I'm saying? So I do have that sort of power. Not I'm not saying I have all the power in the world. I don't. But I have a duty, a responsibility, you know what I'm saying? But I think as we need to, have that sort of responsibility in our head to say, you know what, we do have the power to either change things or keep staying the same, you know what I'm saying?
No, I got exactly what you're saying because you right. It's gonna be that accountability. You either want to be different or you want to be the same, and you're gonna have to make that choice at some point in your life.
Right.
But all right, man. I really appreciate you for coming on. I really appreciate you for coming on.
Yeah, man.
Let's see what this is. Question to non-black people in this chat offended. Do you all check your racial groups of their racism or just man? Here's the thing, bro. Like for me, okay, I'm gonna get into it just a tad bit. I'm sorry. I know we was finna close there,
No,
but
no, 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 no. Let's do it. Let's do it.
like a little bit of my frustration with it is it's 2021. Like and I'm not against having, and actually I promoted that as an idea a while back, but this is before I had the platform, so nobody really heard it. But I understand that we do need our own, but we're gonna at some point have to, like, as people work with other people. And I mean, I just don't see it being able to happen that way in 2021. Um,
Yeah.
it's possible, not probable, and it's because our community just doesn't. Our community just doesn't really have the same the community enough to do it. Like we're not connected enough to put those pieces together. And like you said, we don't have the leadership necessary. If you ask me, in my opinion, in 2021, um, can we do a Black Wall Street? I think people love money enough. I think black people like money enough to maybe put something together like that. But it's going to have to be some for a lot of financial benefit. In terms of a whole town and city and people being that invested in that without getting too greedy, Man, I'm seeing a lot of people that are for themselves nowadays, man. And I don't want to be
Yeah.
pessimistic about it, but it's just the truth. But I do appreciate you for coming on, bro. Really.
No
I
problem.
think we did good tonight. I hope everybody, I thank everybody else for coming out. Everybody who donated in the super chat, I really appreciate y'all. I hope y'all have a good one. Till next time.
Yeah, man.